Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the part 2 of the top romance manhwa with hot and sexy male leads. It's pretty much straightforward. This video will be all about good looking male leads that will surely make you feel excited reading them. If you haven't watched the first part, I will link it down below, so be sure to watch it first. And without further ado, let's get on with the first one. The first one is Rayburn from the story I Stand the Prince. He is the fallen prince in the kingdom. He is the root of all the crazy fans going around, led by the female lead Angela. He is mostly aloof to himself because of the tragedy that happened to the royal family. He is dethroned to his seat of being the next prince, and now he is on the mission to clean his image. When Angela, the female lead, came into his life, he started opening up. He now started to show his feelings more often, like girl. When you see his transition and basically the effect of Angela to him, you're also going to be jumping around like me. I don't expect myself to be really hooked to this manhwa, and I was clenching mostly with the later chapters, and I'm about to be caught up, but I still finish it fast. It's that good. I literally get addicted. The story is just chef's kiss. All these fangirling aspects are so true. Rayburn look attractive, like he has this appeal that will surely get a lot of girls to have a crush on him. If I see him in real life, he's the type of guy I will be into. Besides him looking that good, I know that he can protect and fight for real. The slow burn is also real in this manhwa, and I can't wait for this two to start confessing to each other. Honestly, it's overdue long time ago. Next is Raphael from the story The Villainess is a Marionette. He is the love interest of the female lead Kayana. He is the typical duke that all the women in the kingdom are in love with, but honestly, just look at him. I agreed with all the women. He's also the typical tyrant and serious trope, but when he's with the female lead, Kayena, he like switches and becomes soft. Like if you're into this kind of male lead, he is for you. The thing that I noticed in this manhwa is that the visuals are so good. Like the characters are all beautiful and handsome. Even the crazy step brother is making me feel things. And Raphael just look elevated from all of them. Third is Kilian from the manhwa Villainess Maker. He is sort of a special being, kinda like a god that is able to do extraordinary things, and when this circumstance of time being repeated, he came to the life of the female lead Ayla to provide support and also get him out of this situation. They got closer each day and made a relationship. Kilian is really the one that I will say, gosh, what a sexy man. Looking at his style, I just want to grab it, or maybe not grab it, but admire on how he just pulls it off very well. Like, what do you call this aesthetic? I don't really know about them, but these piercings plus tattoo look, he owned this. Let me just absorb this bad boy look. Also, his personality and attitude throughout the manhwa is just him being cool and flirting with the female lead here and then. Fourth is Nora from A Stepmother's Marken, also known as the fantasy of a stepmother. I always mention how the narrative of this manhwa is one of the best. Surely the female lead I adore and admired her so much. The reveal of him actually in love with her in the flashbacks is just heartbreaking, like they never had the chance in the first timeline, surely being occupied taking care of her family, but in the present timeline, girl, what I'm saying is I'm rooting for Nora all the way. They're just so adorable and wholesome. The build up that I'm seeing is satisfying. Their little moments are special to me. At this point, I don't even need to mention how good or hot Nora looks because he is a really fine man. Throughout the manhwa, you will see him glow up, like real glow up, but his personality or perseverance in approaching surely outweighs them. Fifth is Ishid from the story The Evil Lady's Hero, also known as Villainess in Love. He is the boyfriend of the female lead Unifer, who he had a one-night stand and led to them being in a relationship. She is supposed to break it off with him before the main story starts, but because of Ishid being the best boyfriend ever, she finds it hard to do so, and they just stick together until the end of this story. You know what? I'm just going to expose myself here. Ishid is the male lead that got me thinking about how nice it must have been to be in a relationship with him being good at what he does. He's like the leader of these knights at their kingdom and is extremely attractive. He also just takes care of Unifer the best. Like I can sense the equal respect and love that he has for her, if that makes sense. He also can be soft at times, and that reminds me of Isaac, like they belong to the same criteria of personality. And not me mentioning Isaac like stop, I'm not that obsessed with him. Going back to Ishid, he's quite the perfect man, and you will just see why Unifer can't just let him go easily. Next is Killian, also known as the Archduke of Isaas. He is the male lead in the story Like Wind on a Dry Branch. I really don't realize his name is also Killian until I search it, but now we have two Killians on the list. He's also one of the tyrant tropes, but here it's more realistic. They explain it in a way that is more convincing on why did he have to act that way. This also results in him maintaining a harem of his own that consists of many beautiful ladies. He had a great relationship with all of them. He bought off the female lead Rieta after being sold to him. Rieta thought that her life will become more miserable when she gets sold off to the Archduke, but it was quite the opposite. Killian aims to help her in any way possible. Their story is mostly slow burn. They really start as sort of comrades, slowly building up the romance, and I think it's just right because of the female lead's condition. Her child got stolen from her and she is currently dealing with trauma. They are building the foundation of their relationship, and what I like the most about the Archduke is that he seems proper and respectful to Rieta all the time, and I love to see them more. Seventh is Felix. He is the male lead in the story I Have Become the Hero's Rival. The plot is quite complicated, so the female lead, Irene, got reincarnated in the story with Claudia and Felix, who are royal siblings, and she is kinda adopted to their family. Claudia is wanted by many men in the kingdom, but all she wants is to be with Irene, causing the male lead's attention to go to her. Not in a good way, but in a way that they want to eliminate her, hence the title I Have Become the Hero's Rival. The thing is, Irene is also close to Felix, Claudia's brother, and he is this sweet man, literally the innocent type. Before the transition, I became hooked because there will be a time when he needs to be voluntarily get possessed by a demon. This caused changes in his attitude and energy. Like, girl, suddenly I am 100% interested. Kind of feels bad telling this, but honestly, I'm no longer low-key bored reading every chapter. Like the early ones got me hesitant to continue, but don't get me wrong, the visuals here are pretty and I'm genuinely engaged now. 8 is Aiden from the story The Newlywed Diary of a Witch and a Dragon. He is the excellent newcomer in this magic institute in their kingdom. After consoling the female lead Wendy, who goes through heartbreak, they engage in a one-night stand, and since then, he won't let go of her. Although he might look like the perfect man, this guy has some issues. He is quite obsessive with Wendy, like seriously low-key manipulating her, but don't worry because Wendy can handle herself. It's just him, because of his love for her, he's always thinking that he can't afford to lose her, and that mindset of him just results in that behavior. But keep in mind, Aiden is not like this every time. They also have a lot of cute moments. Some of you might be into this, and the story is not that bad. It's actually good, so here's Aiden for you. Ninth is Henry from the story Remarried Empress. I'm thinking that most of the people reading Manhwa already know him, but I figured out that he's not getting the appreciation that he deserves, and I'm now here to do that. He's the emperor of the opposite kingdom of Navier, the female lead, and after her separation from her husband, Navier got together with Henry. If you just look at him, Henry is really one of a guy. like he's the total package. I believe what brought him to Navier is destiny, like they're meant to be together. Savisho really got nothing. As much as I don't want to mention him here, Henry is just on a different level. He got the ideal man, attitude, and being attractive all in one. All I can remember is how he and Navier owned that moment in the last chapter of season 1. What a power couple. Last but not the least, we have Dujun from the manhwa Positively Yours. He basically commits to marry the female lead he won after her being confirmed to be pregnant, days after them having a one-night affair. The story is good for real, although it's the typical CEO falling in love trope and contains a lot of misunderstandings. I don't really care, like the characters wanting to be responsible for the maybe unwanted child they created is an interesting plot to me. Both have conflicts because they are basically strangers and now suddenly they need to raise a baby together and get married. It also intrigues me how they figure out their feelings that fast in a short amount of time. Dujun is one kind of a man, like Homeboy got love at first sight and he really pursued Hee-won until she gave in to him. That is all for the video. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I rarely talk about men in real life, but if they're fictional, I can commit all the time that I have, especially if it's for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day and I will see you next time.